Hello, everyone. Good morning, dear authors and invited guests. Welcome to Technical Session 3C. Myself, Karthik Bharadwaj, and this session will be moderated by me. On behalf of Global Knowledge Research Foundation, it's my great pleasure to welcome you all the 8th International Conference on Smart Trends in Computing and Communication, SMARTCOM 2024, Pune, India. The 8th edition of the conference is being organized in a hybrid mode. The physical event is organized today in Pune, that is 12th and 13th of January, and by virtual mode Zoom today and tomorrow, that is 12th and 13th January 2024. I hope you will enjoy the knowledgeable and interactive session throughout the day. In this session, we have 10 presentation. Each presenter will be given 8 minutes for the presentation and 2 minutes for the question answer round. On 7 minutes, I will raise a gentle reminder. There is another request to all the participants that you all stay connected with us till the last. If you have any query or update, kindly write it to me in the chat box. So just before starting with the session, I would like to introduce you all with the session chair, Dr. Amita Sharma, Assistant Professor, Selection Grade, CSNIT, IIS, deemed to be University, Jaipur, India. Dr. Amita Sharma is a Senior Assistant Professor in Department of Computer Science and IT, the IIS University. She has more than 13 years of teaching experience. Her area of interest, software engineering, networking, security, data mining, knowledge discovery, database system, web services, Vedic science, and modern theories. Ma'am, we would love to the words of wisdom. Ma'am, you are muted.
Thank you, Karthik. And I really start my gratitude towards GR Foundation, who has given such a wonderful platform to me as well as all the presenters. And we are here all together to share our knowledge and experience and learn more and more. So all the best, all the speakers, and we can start with the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So I would love to start with the first presentation of the day. That is Arif Gurakan with the paper title An Optimized Diagnostic Precision Using Genetic Algorithm in Breast Cancer. Ma'am, you can proceed with the presentation. I think so. She hasn't joined yet. It's okay. Let's move to the next presentation. Then now I would like to call Adrilal Santra for the paper title Analyzing the Customer Sentiment of Reels and Short Video Viewers of Facebook Using Social Media Analysis. Sir, you can proceed with your presentation.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
I think the other part is okay. Is my screen visible? Just a moment. I am opening my presentation. Is it visible?
No, sir.
I think somebody it's written over there, others are sharing. So I think the other screen is being shared. Maybe the reason. Okay, I'm just trying it 1 second.
Okay, sir.
Is it shared now?
Yes, sir. Your screen is visible to us.
Okay.
You may proceed.
Yeah. Actually, there's a maximizing problem. It's creating a problem in maximizing, but I hope it's visible, right? Okay. So I'm starting with my presentation, which is a very pertinent topic in nowadays, which we talk about Facebook Reels and Instagram, which are becoming very popular nowadays. So my study over here is to analyze the customer sentiments of these Reels and short video viewers of Facebook using the social media analytics. So when we so this particular presentation uses the theoretical background is of SOR model, the stimulus organism response, which is a quite popular model in the field of consumer behavior. This basically, in this model, what we talk about, our stimulus over here is any environmental change which is affecting the customers. It can be physically or emotionally, both. So in this case, we are talking about the content, which we are talking in the case of Facebook content of vividness, and the motives why you're using these reels and short videos. When you talk about the organism, when we fit in this particular model, when you talk about the organism, it's the perceived pleasure and the perceived control, what we get once we see, once we view, once we watch these type of short videos and reels. And the response is how it triggers the customer sentiments. It's basically how it positively affects, or the degree of positive effectiveness, how it affects it. So this is the model where we are trying to fit this particular thing. There are a couple of hypotheses which you have found while proceeding, while fitting this particular model into MOS software. So the first one was that all the constructs of the stimulus, I have written over there the abbreviations so that further when we are talking about it, it will save the time. All the constructs of stimulus, like the content generator, content vividness, and motives for reels and short video usage, have a positive significant relation with the perceived control. I will show the model over here just now. And again, we are talking about this, the content vividness, or we talk about the content generation, and all these have a positive significant effect on perceived pleasure. This perceived control has a positive significant relation with customer sentiment. This is hypothesis 3. And perceived pleasure has a positive significant relationship in the customer sentiment. So all of these are in a positive sense, and let's see how it fits in over here. So this is the proposed model. As you can see, as I was talking about, this is the stimulus, this is the organism, and this is the response. And these are the hypotheses which are formed, believing that they are all having a positive effect. Moving on further, the method of data collection, what we have done is through convenience sampling. I have the people, those who are using it, those who are in my Facebook or those who are my Instagram friends. So I've given them. So it's a convenience sampling basically, and 388 samples I have collected from the questions I've collected from them. And this study was conducted between this particular period, as it's been written. It's very recent. There's 2023. In this study, first of all, what we need to do for any study, reliability testing and validity testing has to be done, and it has been tested. So the data perfectly fits in. The Cronbach alpha value is 0.874, which is within the acceptable threshold limit. And as well as we are talking about the validity of the research design as also tested using the construct validity. So with that, once we are satisfied with that, we are proceeding further we have proceeded further for the further studies. Now, this is, as you can see, this is the table which is actually showing that all the construct reliability and average variance which are extracted. And if you can see over there, once we are fitting in, it is in the AMOS, it is showing all of them are within the range. That is, as we are talking about CR, it has to be acceptable limit is 0.7, and the AVA, which is average variance extracted, is within 0.5. And as you can see, once we have organized that, all of them are within that particular range. So we are talking about this, that all these corresponding AVA values are as per the requirements of discriminant validity. So that has also been tested. So the reliability and all the validity testing has been done. This is the path diagram model. AMOS 28 software package has been used. And as I'm telling over here, this has been fit into the package with the help of a structure equationing model, SEM. And this SEM will further explain the relationship among the various factors. Now, this was the fit indices. If you see over there, all the fit indices are there. The absolute fit indices, the incremental fit indices, and the personally fit indices, what you are talking about, are all being put over there. And it has been found that all fit indices values of the structural model are again inside the acceptable ranges, as it has been given over there, all of them. So you can see the values, and on the at the bottom, I've just written the abbreviation of all these for your viewing. So I'm just keeping it for just 5 seconds so that you can view it. Wherein you can see RMSEA is the root mean square error of approximation. NFI is the non-fit index. CFI is the comparative fit index. AGFI is the adjusted goodness of fit index, and PNFI is the parsimony non-fit index. So this, after this, we are proceeding for we are proceeding for this path analysis because we are using already an MOS. So this is a path analysis wherein PC is perceived control, perceived pleasure, customer sentiment. All of these already I have given the abbreviation. So the relation has been put shown over here. And as you can see, all the P values, regression estimates are given, and just right side of that, all the P values, which which is less than that 0.1. Again, I have written over there, this 1% one we are talking about is of course the represent 1% significance level. The thing is that all the hypotheses are over here accepted. That is, all the null hypotheses are accepted. If the all null hypotheses are accepted, so all the presumptions which are made are accepted over here. The discussion of the results, which I have already said that all the four hypotheses which I have formed, the results basically the relation between the stimulus and the organism, and the organism and the responses are all having a significant positive effect. So this will indicate further that the Facebook reels are definitely, or this Instagram Facebook videos or Instagram reels are triggering a positive sentiment among the customers once they're viewing it. So finally, if you are talking about the implication of this briefing it over here, there are three things which are happening. One is the time. Second is the relationship, what are their likingness, and the third thing is that the pervasiveness to connect with people within a short time. People are time constrained at this particular time. Nobody has the patience to
Sorry
see.
to interrupt, sir,
Yeah.
but you have 1 minute left to conclude.
Yeah. So only the very time constraint. So at this particular juncture, only the short videos they are able to see it, and if it is within their, if they like it, if it is within their people, they find a community whom they can relate to. Definitely, they can attach more, and they will feel a connection, positive connections with them. So with this, I'm ending my presentation. Thank you so much, and yeah. Thank you.
So it is really a good presentation. I just
you.
like to ask you one thing. What do you think would be the future perspective of your research? How would you take up in future the same research?
Okay. In future, once we are talking about the Instagram videos, when the people are relating with it, so this will further help to give a community. Now Instagram is very personal when you talk about, but then further, like you talk about the various groups which we are seeing in Facebook. So we can actually form, which we can make a more connection with them. Further, people can connect, share their ideas, and in fact they can come together, those who have the similar interest. Like I'm talking about a photographer can come together with a photographer, so they can make a community which will help further in particular that stream to connect with more people, so they can form an association with that. That's what I feel, if it can be given a more streamlined way of connecting with people.
And what about the industry? How will they find this research more suitable for their
well when
future
well
plans?
Yes, when we talk about this industry, we can always talk about the services industry will be definitely benefited. When we talk about the various services industry like hospitality or hotels, or even for that matter, when we talk about the consultancy, the people, those who are doing the research in the similar fields, like so they can connect with that, connect with the people. In this Instagram, when you're talking about, we just give, just a ring of maybe at, it's 15 seconds, where it will be sort of a teaser where people can view it and see it, and they can further give a message to, okay, I'm very interested with you, can we collaborate further in this is a good idea. So that way the collaborative research can also be done in the case of research. Similarly, in all the services industries, they can actually use this very effectively, this social media platform, Instagram and Facebook Shorts.
I think it is a wonderful answer. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I'll stop sharing.
Now moving to the next presentation, I would like to call Shakshi Gupta for the paper title Crowd Density Estimation for Video Surveillance Using Deep Learning, a review. Ma'am, you can proceed with your presentation.
Hello.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes, good morning. Yeah, 1 second. Let me present the screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am, your screen is visible.
Okay. A very good morning to all the authors and presenters. Today I'll be presenting about crowd density estimation for video surveillance using deep learning. So, the crowd density estimation term defines itself. Density maps used to analyze the crowd. Basically, this uh, the density map formation has a ground changing effect on the field of video surveillance. As in today's generation, the crowd estimating the crowd is a major issue where we can see the stampedes, the traffic control, the crowd management. So, this technique plays a major role in that field. The innovation and the advancement in the field has increased exponentially by improving the accuracy, efficiency, and adaptability of the crowd density estimation. And it plays a vital role in the public safety and monitoring field too. By automating the crowd density estimation, we can increase the public safety and playing and prevent disasters happening. Moving forward, we can see I've put a referral image showing how the crowd density estimation works. Basically, here we can see on the left hand side that these images are taken from a dataset named Shanghai Tech, and attached to it on the left side we can see a ground truth which can be used to compare our density map formation. And on the extreme left, we can see the density map and how accurately it is predicting the density of this crowd by giving a head count above, which is very accurate to the ground truth provided. This is how the density map formation for crowd density works. Now, moving forward, the application of this area uh, has multiple options. We can see it has application in the public safety and enhancing public space design by assessing the customer density, improves resource allocation in the malls and public spaces. We can streamline the entrance and exit configuration, enhancing the safety and efficiency. Its implementation in intelligent surveillance. Video surveillance can be improved by making it intelligent surveillance by automating surveillance system with implementing crowd density estimation in that. It can be used in the field of person identification in crowd stimulation by detecting face and efficiently identifying the suspects in crowd. Moving forward, crowd density estimation techniques. So there were previously traditional approaches, which included basic methods like manual counting and using sensor at entrance. These methods were proved inefficient in complex scenarios. So then came the game changer learning based approaches, which introduces CNN to use and form density maps. These deep learning approaches also involve techniques like individual detection and direct prediction and counting. Uh, in the field of deep learning, also, the earlier methods like multi column CNNs with varying filter sizes and different scales had their limitations and complexity by not forming efficient density maps or accurate density maps. The improvement of these multi CNNs came with the single CNNs, which improved these drawbacks and gave better results. Then there were complementary features that were incorporated to increase the accuracy. And then there were uh, pioneering pioneering work by Zhang that introduced these models trained for dual objective density formation as well as count. Zhang played a very vital role in this field, as his research complete gave was a game changer in this field. And then there were various application in various settings. Let's go into deep in the deep learning based approaches. There were single CNNs that were a improvement for the multi-column CNNs, where a single filter was used, whereas in the multi-column, multiple filters were used, and the dilated convolution leading to a better accuracy and simplified density. Then there were fully connected CNNs that were used, and various other advancements were done. Now moving on to the data sets. For analyzing these crowds, we need a very good amount of data sets providing good amount of images and videos so that the training can be done better way. As if the training is not done better in these models, the prediction of density map would be poor, and the need of uh, better density map formation would be deluged. So these benchmark data sets provide a play a very vital role in this. The benchmarks data set that were majorly used in these researchers was Shanghai Tech and Car Park, Drone RGBT, Beijing, Mall data sets, Coco, Drone being the only data set with a drone visual surveillance images. After reviewing uh, 30 plus papers, the challenges and the limitations that uh, came up were that there was deficiency of good performing and good density map generating models. The low accuracy was in the head count that was not matching the ground truth. There was less usage of aerial data set basically, because you can see in in today's time there is no there is not only the focus on video surveillance but also aerial surveillance. No computation reduction for real time surveillance was encountered, and cross data set performance can be improved. There was absence of good object detection with computationally inexpensive density
Sorry to
map
interrupt,
formation.
ma'am, but you have
Yes.
just 1 minute to conclude.
Okay. Yeah, so these were the challenges, and in the future, we can improve on the given challenges by improving the crowd density and estimation, enhancing object detection in aerial imagery, and expanding data set utilization. For the conclusion, this paper talked about the evolution of the methods. The literature survey was very deep as it considered 30 papers, and the dataset utilization, it talked about dataset utilization and also the limitation and future work. S- So yeah, and these are the references for my paper. Thank you.
Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes.
Uh, so I
Yes,
just
ma'am, you're audible.
I just want to give you some suggestions. I think this is your first paper in related with crowd estimation.
Yes. Yes.
Before working with further in research area, you have already done the qualitative research. Now you
Yes.
have to do quantitative research. That means you have to quantify the uh, data, whether it is in context of accuracy, or if you're talking about the data set, or if you're talking about the performance. So try to build some paper which is more towards quantitative, doing some meta analysis, so that it will give you more clear vision of how much has been done, and what appropriately is required in future to be done. Okay, because at present in this presentation we have a vague idea that there are certain limitations and that need to be improved, but precisely we don't have numbers on our page to categorize how much is to be done.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
and I think otherwise the topic is really good. And what are your future plans?
with respect to this topic? You have planned something to do?
Yes, ma'am. I've planned, and I've started working on it as well. As I've encountered the research gaps and limitations after reviewing all these papers, my main objective was with the future was to improve the object detection so that the density map formation could be improved. So I've started working on that, and by using good object detection methods and such as models like Clahe, and then working on improving the density map formation.
Are you targeting some specific application?
Yeah, video surveillance only.
Okay.
Basically, aerial surveillance, because the object detection in aerial surveillance is a major task to be looked
Okay.
on.
Okay. So all the best for your future.
Thank
That's
you.
all from my side.
Thank you. Thank you for your suggestions, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Moving
you.
towards the next presentation, that is of Punkuzeli, development for paper title, development and pilot testing of a web-based e-learning tool for imparting livelihood skills on intellectually disabled people. Ma'am, you can proceed with your presentation. Ma'am, you're not audible.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible now.
Yes. Okay. So our project, our title is the development and pilot testing of web-based e-learning tool for imparting livelihood skills for intellectually disabled person. So our team member is myself, Dr. Priya Vijay, Swarna Shanti, and Sangeeta Archana. So the imparting livelihood skills to people with intellectual disabilities, actually it needs more attentions because so that they can live financially independent with the societal protections. And still there is a lack of assistive technologies which with 3D animations and other gadgets to teach these persons. And moreover, the families with these mild and moderate intellectual disabled persons are mostly economically weak as well as they are illiterate. So they were all not aware of the technologies also. So and moreover, the special schools across different districts or different states, they will follow their own set of curriculum to teach these livelihood skills. So for life skills, there is a schools, but livelihood skills, it's a very, very minimum. So we thought of developing a web-based uh, learning tool so that they can learn more of the livelihood skills and join in the working environment. And the persons with mild and moderate disabilities. So the main intention is to provide an employability in both the public and private sector in a regular modest mode. This is the main objective. And while preparing based on them, so based on the VAPS model, it's an vocational assessments and programming systems for the persons with mentally disordered. So these based on those things and all we have developed. And there is a rights for the persons with disability act also. So they based on these things. So these intellectual disability persons, whatever the job they can do. So that is also suggested by the Skill Council for Person with Disabilities. So it is a government sector in New Delhi. And based on that, we have selected the different rates and identified the models, what are the skills we can impart. And then we started developing the certain skills with 3D animation, certain real-time videos, and all those things we have developed for these tools. And we have also provided a manual along with the augmented reality technologies, which makes them the interactive and view and user experience. We have developed these things. And all these skills is based on the adaptive VAPS model. So this is the framework of our web-based e-learning tool. So first it started with framing the curriculum for the livelihood skills, and we have revived with the previous existing tools for the vocational skills, and then we have identified the generic skills. So this generic skill is whether these intellectual disability persons can work in the environment. So we need to test their mobility, their communications, their social awareness, and basic skills. So once they are qualified with this generic skills only, they will be eligible to do different trades or work in the any organizations. So that identification of generic skills also, it varies for different disability persons. And then we have done the task analysis for that, and then identified the vocational skills. And for each and every vocational skills, we have done the task analysis. And finally, we have developed the data analysis model for them. And all these things, the digitization of these trades have been done, and using these animations and different tools, and wherever necessary, we have also done with the real-time capturing video, and we have done the rendering on all those things. These interfaces have been done in 3 different languages, in Hindi, Tamil, and English. And the review of these tools have been again done, analyzed with the domain experts, and field testing has been carried out in various special schools for the evaluation, and then further incorporations based on their feedback. We have just keep on updating and adding more and more livelihood skills to that. This is the overall framework of our system. So the phase 1, we have just started with the discussion with the domain experts from 4 different special schools, and they have identified these are the trades they're eligible for them, and based for each and every trade, we have just identified the generic skills as well as the prerequisite skills for different things. And once these curriculum has been done, we have developed the data analysis model, and using all these animations and technologies. And these pilot testing third phase have been carried out once again by the domain experts at various special schools, and based on their feedback, we are just refining. So this is the user interface component. All the modeling and visualization interface have been obtained through the 3D techniques, and these rendering for these videos and animations have been done and then converted into the executable place. Wherever necessary, we have done the dubbing with voice dubbing with the 3 different languages, and these are the softwares. Maya, Blender, and Adobe animation tools are being used, and interfacing has been done with the JavaScript and these Android, because these bootstrap technologies, it makes the product to be properly visible at whether you open in the mobile or tab or laptop, everything, the visibility will be the same. So that's why we have added that bootstrapping technologies. And in this modeling and visualization is the main thing in our work, and this is bridges the real world experiences and the digital content in order to captivate the engagement of the visual learners, because most of the intellectual disabled persons, they will be very interactive when they learn, when their appearances and the learning environment is better. So that's why augmented reality and all these things have been added for to enhance the learning experiences, with the capability to generate the 3D models and AR technologies that plays a vital role in their adaptive learning systems. And these are the trades which we have identified. We have done for the basic computer operator and sublimation printing, paperback printing, and artificial jewelry making, doormat making, and table loom, and the laminations, photocopying, spiral binding, soft tie. But we can also extend. We are just working on again the other activities also. But these are the things we have done. So all these things for each and every trade, we have done the following process. First, we have developed the storyboard, the rough sketches for the animation, and then we have converted that into the animated 3D character, and the rendering of these images have been done. And finally, the voice scripting we have written, and then interface these voice and dubbing with these images and audio, and finally integration of all these tools into the web-based portal. So, and these are the initial step, the brainstorming and even the testing and everything It has been done in association with the NIPMED. It is the National Institute for Empowerment of Persons with Multiple Disabilities in Chennai here. And we have the domain experts from the Composite Regional Center. It's a special school in Haryana. So all these, because they will be doing the assessment. This is the sample assessment for one of the trades, soft tie making. So their accessibility and the mark allocations, once they are eligible to have a grade of 75%, then they can be assigned with that. They will be provided the certifications and they can use these certifications to join in some organization. And this is the data analysis model we have developed. So after the assessment, the infograph will be displayed like this.
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am. You have left
Yes, sir.
1 minute to conclude.
Okay, sir. This is the paper bag, one of the infograph outcome of the data analysis model. The assessment results will be provided in this way. And this is the screenshots of our web-based tool. And we have done the pilot testing in special schools for one of the trades for 10 children, and they feel that the normal assessment model, teaching model, and this interactive based teaching, and then the user experiences, we have shared the results of these things for the 15 special children's. And the outcome of our model is we provide the structured and organized instructions for vocational training and employment. So which is reduces the dependency of the expert personnel, and each and every individual, they can learn at their own pace. And there is an even for some of the time these for training these special children, it's very difficult for the trainer also. For them also, it's an useful material, and it enables the tireless training for the individuals with ID in a sheltered workshops wherever, anywhere they can use all these technologies, and this can be deployed in remote regions also, as it is developed in 3 different languages. So there's a conclusion. We have provided the standardized curriculum for 9 trades to train the livelihood skills for ID persons. And the curriculum is designed to be nationally applicable, and it is also developed based on the persons and the quality packs suggested by the Skill Council for Persons with Disabilities. And this tool enhances the learning experience for the disabled individuals. And the infograph has been generated leveraging their assessments to visualize and analyze the learning proficiency. Further, the 3D animated videos have been developed, importing the livelihood skills to enhance their employability capabilities and make them financially independent. So to facilitate, the overall thing is an effective curriculum delivery by the trainers and the parents. They can also use, and in local languages we have developed. So we would like to acknowledge the Department of Science and Technology and under the TIDE divisions, Technology Interventions of Disabled Elderly Program. We got this funding and developed, and we are still enhancing more and more trades. Thank you.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Firstly, I want to congratulate for developing such a wonderful platform, and you are solving such a big issue, which is again related with the unemployment and enhancing the employment, especially challenged people. What are the basic challenge you have faced while framing the particular model, especially
Yeah.
for specially challenged?
First thing is we have developed certain skills, but those skills it is not. During the review, they said that each and every disabled, they have their own because for visually impaired, they have developed the certain quality packs suggested by the Skill Council for Person with Disability, because they said that the visually person can do these jobs and intellectual disability can only do these set of skills based on their IQ and different levels. And for hearing impaired, they have adopted certain things. So we have followed those patterns. And initially for training all those things, we have 4 different persons from New Delhi, 2 special schools from Chennai and from Lucknow. We all sit together, and the director from this NIPMED, it's a central government institute, and they also, we have brainstormed for 3 days with our team, all these members, and then we framed the curriculum. So they all supported us.
all the best. I hope you will definitely present it a wonderful presentation, and in future we're going to see it in a real life mode.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Now
Thank you.
moving to the next presentation. Next, I would like to call Prashantini KK for the paper title Metaverse Music Teacher, the Future of Livelihood Skills Training for Intellectually Disabled. Ma'am, you can proceed with your presentation.
Yes, good morning to one and all. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay, thank you. 1 second. Okay, so good morning, everyone. First of all, very honored to be a part of the 8th International Conference in Smart Trends. And I'm here to present on Metaverse Music Teacher, the Future of Livelihood Training for Intellectually Disabled. So the main motto of our project was to make the intellectually disabled people financially employed and stable, because they often encounter a lot of challenges when seeking when seeking education and training in the livelihood area. So they seek a lot of challenges because they are often treated differently. So, because their attention span and understanding ability and their capacity to, reciprocate what we are telling, everything is different from a normal kid or a student who is learning. So the existing system which is already present are like virtual classrooms and physical trainings. Those actually lack the personalized training, which is very important for people with intellectual disabilities, because their understanding ability will be very different than, very different from person to person. Like, so our system uses the power of metaverse to provide them the personalized environment for learning, and also a self-paced learning environment. So the tool that we are building will actually act as a support tool for the teachers who are present in the school for special children. And we have chosen the musical instrument as a trade that we want to teach them for the livelihood, as a livelihood skill, because of its therapeutic effects. It is proven by many studies that people with intellectual disabilities are more therapeutic to music than any other form of therapies. So the existing platforms like Zoom and Google Meet lack adequate interaction with those students, and it also lacks the special care that they need. And also the special schools rely on physical caregivers, which is not like possible entirely, because one teacher will have to handle 15 to 30 children at a time, and it's not possible to make each and every student capable of learning that skill to make it as a profession. So that needs special care, and that is what our system provides them. And with the help of the metaverse, we are providing a 3D environment and interactive instruments through which they can learn. After like watching a video contents and also getting the help from the physical teachers, they can practice. If in the initial stages, they can practice with the metaverse instrument. That is a 3D animated instrument, which is safe and secure for them, because they will not get hurt. And initially it will be difficult for them to handle the instruments and stuff. And for our project, we have included 4 instruments that are ukulele, piano, drums, and xylophone. So these 4 instruments are some of the easiest to learn for them. And this is the literature review, various papers we have used as references. And then this is the architecture diagram. So initially the user, they'll be signing up or logging in according to their history, and then they'll be entering the user profile, where there will be general information, contact, and assessment. So assessment plays an important part in our proposed system, because there will be 3 kinds of assessment each student will be undergoing. So before even starting the training, there will be 2 assessments. One is a generic assessment, and another one is the pre-training assessment. So in the generic assessment, general qualities like social behavior and stuff will be tested. And then the pre-training assessment will be closely related to the particular, training. In this case, they'll be checked for, the musical aspects, how they are able to understand or how they are able to move their hands for, playing the instrument and stuff. And then after completing their training, there'll be a grading assessment also. So yeah, after going through the user profile, they'll be choosing the music instrument that they will be learning. So we are given the options: drums, ukulele, piano, and xylophone. After that, they'll be entering the musical classroom, the 3D space, where there will be 3D objects, the interactive objects with which they'll be practicing, and also audio and video instructions. And 3D characters will also be present to create. I'm sorry, there is an issue. Okay. Yeah, so the metaverse classroom, where they'll have other 3D characters, which will, enable them to feel like they're in a good environment. It is for the environment purpose. And about these, the database that we use. That was about the architecture diagram. So about the assessment, so I have included a few snapshots of the assessment. So basically, there'll be 4 categories: with physical assistance, with verbal assistance, with clue assistance, and with no assistance. So as I said earlier, the people with intellectual disabilities are very different from one another. So one person will be able to easily grasp what the teacher is telling and just reciprocate it, and the other person will not be able to do anything without a verbal assistance, throughout the process. And other people will be, even more, like dependent on the teacher for each and everything. They cannot pluck the string of a guitar, and everything has to be said to them. So physical assistance will be there. And with clue assistance, some people can just pick up on clues and start doing the things. So those 4 categories are will be categorizing the students first in these categories. As I told, the generic skill assessment. So one of the qualities that we'll be testing, personal qualities, like uses toilet whenever required independently, keeps himself well dressed and groomed according to the occasion. So all these qualities are necessary to be for them to be in an environment and to also take up a profession and everything. So they should be first of all physically independent, and then they'll we can train them to be financially independent. And the other question can be: maintains the mealtime etiquettes as per need at home and gathering situations. So there will actually be scores here. So according to the scores that they get, they will be categorized in these 4 categories. And then this is also a communication category. Can use gestures as an adjunct to verbal communication. So all these things, because it is important for them to communicate properly and everything. And it is also important that they are understanding what we are telling. So to check all that, we are having these things in the generic assessment. And then so other qualities in generic assessment can be social behavior, academic ability, safety, how safely they are carrying themselves around the
Sorry to interrupt,
instruments and
ma'am.
stuff.
You have left 1 minute to conclude.
Yeah, okay. So, and the domestic behavior, mobility, and hand functioning, which is again important for the musical instruments, and occupational skills, how they are maintaining a routine or being punctual and stuff like that. And in the pre-training assessment, this is more related to the training that we are giving. So for music, we'll be testing their cognitive skills, like what is their attention span and how their observation and perception is, and motor skills, which is again important for the hand movements and stuff in the musical instrument. And then the skill assessment. So this will be the grading assessment that will happen after the training. So basic knowledge needs to be tested. For example, for drums, the basic knowledge needs to be like what is the primary function of a bass drum, basic knowledge and basic technique, how to hold it, and everything. After all these assessment, they will be graded. They will either be graded to take up graded and evaluated, or they can, if they are failing the assessment, they'll have to again take up the lessons, and it will be like a reinforcement learning. They'll be like again taking the assessments to correct their mistakes and stuff. So this is actually the metaverse framework explanation. So user experience, they can use the head-mounted display like the VR headset, and a hand input device for the musical instrument to play the instruments. And then the authentication involves the login process and character creation. And then user profile will, as I told already, there'll be contact and assessments and everything. And the musical instruments, all the 3D objects will be there, and 4 instruments that we are providing. And the classroom, virtual classroom, which is the gist of the classroom that we have initially created. We have created this through Blender. We have designed it. And then the main outcome of this proposed platform is to, develop develop a profession, like make them learn and develop it as a profession. And they can also learn at their own pace. And this is a safe environment for them. And, because they can learn without getting hurt and everything. And then they can also learn at their own pace. And they can repetitively practice instruments after learning it through videos and audio instruction. And as a conclusion, the metaverse environment provides an engaging learning experience because, and also there will be, surrounded by background music and stuff because the autism students are more interested and their attention is more towards, music than visuals or physical teaching. They are more attracted to music, and also it is therapeutic. So that's why we have included the musical instrument as the livelihood skill. And we have used the cutting edge technology, which is metaverse. It promotes independence and creativity. And again, emphasis on the therapeutic aspects. And hence, we are creating a sense of independence, creativity, and personal development for the intellectually disabled. Thank you.
Yes, it was really a good presentation. I just want to ask you, have you listed some difference between the physical experience and metaverse experience? Is there a significant difference in context of learning?
Yes, ma'am. Definitely. In physical, as I told you, like, one teacher has to be, teaching a lot of students, and also certain students will have to like learn the instrument repeatedly. Like, say, for example, in musical, like one note, they have to learn it several times to actually perfect it. So, with the help of this virtual training, the using the metaverse, where they'll be using the virtual instruments, so they can repeatedly practice how many ever times they want, but that is not physically possible. Like, one teacher cannot just keep on teaching one kid again and again everything. They'll have to like uh, take care of so many other children. So that is like a significant difference between the physical and the our proposed system.
Is there any limitation of a virtual system in context of specially challenged people?
I think limitation will be maybe they will have challenges in operating the environment, which can definitely be solved by teaching them first how to operate around the thing, and also the physical teachers will be present if they have any doubts or anything. Well, they'll be grading them and assessing them side by side, so that won't be much of a problem, but that could be a limitation. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving to the next
Thank you.
presentation, I would like to call Ashish Binoy Abraham for the paper title Player Performance Analysis. So, you
Yeah, thank
proceed with
you.
your presentation.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. Is the screen visible?
Yes, sir, your screen is visible.
Okay. So, good morning, everyone. My name is Ashish Binoy, and I'm going to present our paper titled Player Performance Analysis. So, this paper was authored by Aditya Darshan Nayak, Aditya A.S., Alan Joji Valiat, R. Bharati, Sandesh BJ, and myself. So, our paper dives into the world of cricket analytics to bring you insights that not only shape our understanding of the game, but also paves the way for strategic advancements. So, these are the contents. So we all know that the success or failure of any team is dependent upon the performance of each of its individual players. Therefore, it becomes very important to analyze their performance to discover weak points and strong points so that the team can make better decisions. So the objective of this paper is to predict player performance using a multiple linear regression model and also develop a new metric which integrates batting, bowling, and fielding to better analyze their performance. So the data set that we've considered Indian players under BCCI contract, and the data was collected from ESPN Cricinfo. So we collected the links of the stats for these players using a web crawler, which we made using Scrapy. And we also made a customized Selenium WebDriver to scrape the data. So the data we obtained was then pre-processed to remove redundant and remove missing values. And we store them in CSV files. So this is the framework that we have proposed as a part of this study. So there are two parts of the study. The first part involves player performance prediction, where we used a multiple linear regression model to predict the various metrics of these roles. And second part involves analyzing player performance using a new metric which we have developed called player impact. So coming to the MLR model, so we predicted a few different metrics for each of these different rules. So for batsmen, we predicted average by considering the attributes innings, NO, which is number of not outs, and runs. And we predicted strike rate using runs and balls faced. And for bowlers, we predicted economy using the attributes runs and overs. And for fielders, we predicted dismissals per innings by considering the attributes innings and catches. So to enhance the predictive capabilities of a model, we used a logarithmic data transformation. And the reason we chose a log data transformation is because we used this Tukey-Mosteller bulge diagram, and the relationship between our independent and dependent variables showed a curve which was similar to the one shown in the second quadrant of this graph. So a logarithmic transformation seemed to be more appropriate. So we tested the model on different metrics for each of these different rules, and we were able to get exceptionally high R-square values, as you can see from the table. And we also validate the model by comparing the predicted stats we got with the actual stats and also the current stats from ESPN Cricinfo, which we took when we made this table. Coming to the player impact metric. So the player impact metric provides a more comprehensive assessment of a player's contribution to the team. And it's composed of three components: batting impact, fielding impact, and bowling impact. And the player impact metric is calculated differently for the three different rules. So as you can see, the player impact metric is simply the average of each of these three components. So for all-rounder, we take the average of batting impact, bowling impact, and fielding impact. For batsmen, we only consider batting impact and fielding impact. And for bowler, we consider bowling impact and fielding impact. So coming to batting impact, the batting impact is a weighted average of different batting metrics. So we have considered batting average, strike rate, boundary hitting ability, runs between wickets, scoring rate factor, and milestone reaching ability. Similarly, bowling impact is also a weighted combination of bowling average, economy, strike rate, and high wicket taking ability. And fielding impact is calculated as dismissals per innings. So to provide a more balanced assessment, we assign these weights and we refine them using genetic algorithm to optimize the weights based on the level of influence each component of batting and bowling impact should have. So we set the population size for the genetic algorithm to on 500, where each individual is a weight per component. And we ran the algorithm for 100 generations so that we could get a more optimized solution. And we also used a 2-point crossover and Gaussian mutation. So these are the initial weights we assigned when calculating batting impact. And as you can see, the weights differ based on the format of the game played and also based on what position the batsman is in. So for T20, first four batsmen, we give a higher weightage to strike rate and boundary hitting ability because T20I favors a more aggressive play style where you have to score more runs in a shorter amount of time. Similarly, for tail enders, we give an even higher weightage to strike rate and boundary hitting ability because they're responsible for scoring more runs towards the latter half of an innings. But the average weight for T20 is not as high compared to test matches because test matches favor you to be more consistent and staying on the pitch for as long as possible and building partnership. So that's why in test we have a higher weightage for average, scoring rate factor, and milestone reaching ability. And so these are the refined weights that we got after running the genetic algorithm. So the batting impact metric can be used to compare what circumstance the player plays better. So this graph on the left shows the batting impact of Virat Kohli when he's a captain versus when he's not a captain. And we can see that he plays better when he's not a captain. And the graph on the left shows that it compares the batting impact of Virat Kohli when he's batting first and then compared to when he's fielding first. And he plays better when he's fielding first. The batting impact metric can also be used to compare the performance of different players against different teams. So here we're comparing the performance of Suryakumar Yadav and Hardik Pandya against different teams. So we validated the batting impact metric which we developed by comparing it with other batting performance methods.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. You have left 1 minute to conclude.
Sure, yeah. So we compared it with other methods and we created a ranking based on this, based on these methods, and we compared them with the actual ICC T20 rankings, and we were able to find that our batting impact metric had the least mean square error, as evident from the graph. So in conclusion, the MLR model which we developed displayed remarkable predictive capabilities when predicting batting, bowling, and fielding performance. And the player impact metric combined batting, bowling, and fielding into a holistic metric. But that is not to say there aren't limitations. There are limitations such as its dependency on historical data and an inability to account for intangible factors such as situational awareness and so on. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would like to ask you a question, like why you have used just a multi-layer regression? Is there any other models which we can use with this particular set of
We
data?
did, yeah. So we did explore other models such as nonlinear regression and random forest, etc. But we weren't able to get a good accuracy with those models. So we decided to use the multiple linear regression model with the logarithmic data transformation.
I would like you to suggest that please also use explainable AI with your model so that you get to know what exactly your model is doing with your data.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Moving to the next presentation. Now, I would like to call Mr. Vikram Kashyap for the paper title Real-Time Estimation of Calories from Indian Food Pictures Using Image Processing Techniques. Sir, you may proceed with your presentation.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible to us.
And can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, good morning, everyone. I'm Vikram Kashyap from my final year of BTech in Computer Science and Technology. And I'm here to present my paper on the real-time estimation of calories from Indian food pictures using image processing techniques. As you know, the Indian cuisine has variety of dishes from all ranging from north to south all across the country and have different variety of types of nutrition values and calorific values, and some of them are have more calorific value, and due to the rising health awareness in people, they are now prompting that they should know the calorie of the meal they are eating. And now this necessitates to build a system which can calculate the calories in real time with minimum user input. Therefore, they are proposing a system which can use photos of the meal and can detect and predict the detect the food items, and then from the images, and then give an estimation of calories present in that meal. And that is the main aim of our paper, which is to find and implement the most efficient deep learning algorithm which can detect the dishes from the images accurately and in real time. Uh, First, we will see what are the work which is already done in this
Can
domain.
I request you to directly come to your model which you have proposed and your results? Okay.
Of course, of course. The model actually we are using is actually open source algorithm called YOLO version 8, which is YOLO, which is a abbreviation of You Only Look Once. And it is called YOLO because this algorithm has to scan the image in only one time to detect the food items in it. And it is a very powerful object detection algorithm because it can because it has better speed and detection accuracy and good generalizations compared to the other algorithms. And the methodology we have used is that we have collected images of 11 food classes of Indian origin using the image web scraping, and we have 300 images overall, and each class has 27 images approximately. You can see the list of the classes listed like idli, dosa, dhokla, etc. Then we have annotated or labeled these image using label IMG tool, and then divided this data set into 70 to 30 ratio for passing into the YOLO V8 model for training. For using this model, we have also designed a web application which will enable user to use this model and detect the food items more easily. And after the food items are identified, each food items average kilocalorie per 100 gram is used. This value is used from the data table to make an estimation of the calories present in that meal. This is the same the system diagram. The above section uses training. Uh, we just as I now clarified that the model we have to first annotate the images, then pre-process the images, and the after the training is done, then our web application which is present in the Flash server, the user will input the image. The web application will save that image and then give it to the model. The model will predict or detect the objects, food items present in that image, and make a bounding box around it and identify the classes, and then sends that results back to the web application. The web application will extract the results or the information and get of the food items which are present, and of each of the food items present, it will extract the calories from the table and display the result to the user. Now, there are mainly two advantages of this method over the previous systems. The first one is that the previous systems were mostly focused on detecting single item in one image. Like if they have image of poha, so they will only detect the model will only detect the poha in it. But like we have this like this in the image we have seen that it is only detecting the fried chicken, but by our model we can detect multiple food items in one image only. And the second advantage will be that we know that Indian food images have some food items which look similar but are different, like roti, paratha, dosa, etc. So our method, the YOLO method, will recognize the texture and color better than the previous algorithms, and then it will be able to distinguish between them. Let's see, like here, this is the web application we have designed, and as you can see, there is a multi-class identification of food items. Like it detects idli, dosa, sambar simultaneously in one image only. And as I was talking about the second advantage, like the dosa and paratha, they are looking kind of similar, but still the model is able to differentiate between them. Now let us see the performance evaluation. At the precision recall curve, we can see on the threshold of 0.5, our precision is most, which is 0.921. average precision is most 0.921, which is pretty great. And in precision confidence curve, we can see the precision has at 0.94, I think. Sorry. Yes, at 0.94, all the classes have one precision at 0.943 confidence level. Now looking at the confusion matrix, we can see that there are no misclassification here, but there are some chances that the image of the food is present, but the model is not being able to detect it. But there is no misclassification like poha with upma or vada pav with vada, like there is no misclassification. And we can see that poha and upma has the best result. It is classifying it 100% accurately. The future scope is that we can implement stereo vision or reference objects which can make which can which will make it easier for us to estimate the size of the portion of the food item, so we can detect the amount of the food item, and we can calculate the calories respectively. The second future scope, the second application which can be made in this system is that we can uh, account the ingredients which is used in the making of the dish, because Indian food are in the different regions. One Indian dish can be prepared by using different different ingredients. And
Sorry to
with
interrupt, sir. You have
yes,
1 minute to conclude.
yeah, of course. So yeah, this which can be updated. Our system can be updated by this. And the last one is like we haven't taken into account the different methods of cooking, like frying, baking, and roasting, and which this have effect on calorific content. And we can include this by taking a input from the user, that if this dish is fried or baked or roasted, and by we can then detect more accurately how much calorie it will the dish it will be present in the dish. So in conclusion, in this project we propose a food detection calorie measurement system which can help patients or normal people to and dietitians to measure and manage daily food intake. The model is efficient in saving time since it recognizes all the food items in the single image, and estimated calories can be calculated. And this model can be improved further for real life implementations on several use cases. These are the references we have used, and thank you for listening. If you have any questions, I'm
It is really a good presentation and a very interesting problem.
yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
Definitely, I had a question that when you are going to select the particular set of images, how it will differentiate between the type of cooking, which you have already mentioned in your future work. You will going to take up that, because while preparing a samosa on gas and preparing through air fryer, the calories may
Yeah.
vary.
Yes.
So definitely, you will going to cover that in future.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all the best from my side. It is really a good project.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Now moving to the next presentation, I would like to call Miss Anmol Jha for the paper titled Sentiment Analysis of Hindi Cinema Using Boosting Algorithms. Ma'am, you can proceed with your presentation.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to present my screen.
Yes, ma'am. Now you can present your screen.
I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am, your screen is visible.
Hello, everyone. I am Anmol Jha, and I'm here with my teammate Parul Man, and we were co-authors for this paper along with our professors. So we wrote a paper on sentiment analysis for Hindi cinema using boosting algorithms.
So the following is an overview of our presentation.
Can you start directly start with your problem and the work you have done, okay? Rather than discussing
Sure.
the literature review.
Right, could we go to the problem statement, please, Anmol? So in this study, we propose a methodology for Hindi sentiment analysis with a data-driven focus, where we scrape our own data set and pre-process it using Hindi-specific techniques. We analyze this new form of pre-processing using various boosting algorithms, such as ADA boost, categorical boosting, and extreme boosting in the context of vernacular languages. Sentiment analysis holds significant importance in today's scenario where every decision is data driven. So having these sentiment analysis tools for vernacular communities is specifically important in context of development over small regional communities. So hence our work in Indic languages aims to contribute to the NLP space as a whole when it comes to regional languages.
So this is the methodology. So our data set was not one that we picked up from the internet. We created our own data set. We used web crawling technique to go to different Hindi news websites and create our own Hindi movie reviews corpus. And after creating the entire corpus, we manually annotated each and every review into positive and negative reviews. And then we performed basic pre-processing on the corpus, removed the stop words and punctuation marks and all the Hindi specific words. And then we performed tokenization and vectorization and trained it on 3 boosting algorithms, that is ADA boost, CAT boost, and XG boost. So this is a brief description of our data set. Here is a sample article. So our data set is made up of the Hindi news articles from India TV, Amar Ujala, and Navbharat Times. We went to all these 3 websites for Hindi movie reviews. And finally, we created our own corpus, which looks something like this. And it comprises of 718 Hindi movie reviews, which were manually annotated into positive and negative. So the 1 over here indicates that it was a positive review, and the 0 indicates that the review was a negative one. So like this, we manually annotated all these reviews. And finally, we had a data set which consisted of 478 positive reviews and 240 negative reviews, which is 33% of the entire data set. So for pre-processing, we remove all the stop words, the punctuation marks that we see, the commas and everything. And for the list of stop words, we combined several stop words that we could find on the internet. And also there were a few stop words that were data specific, which we could find from the cloud visualization thing. So we created a word cloud. And from that word cloud, we could figure out that there are a few words which are kind of irrelevant in determining whether the review is positive or negative. So using the word cloud visualization, we could remove the other stop words as well. And obviously we removed all the Hindi Devanagari full stop. The full stop is not a general full stop that we have, but like a matra or single line that we have. So we specifically had to go back and remove that from the data set. And after removing all the stop words, we performed tokenization. And after tokenization, we vectorized the entire data set for further analysis. And we used the ADA boost, that is adaptive boosting algorithm, XG boost, that is extreme gradient boosting, and CAT boost, that is categorical boosting algorithm. So we could see that from all our results that ADA boost has a low accuracy throughout, and ADA boost has a tendency to be sensitive to noise, which might have affected the performance here. And it is also not very effective for complex tasks, like intricate patterns are present. It could not identify that, so it might have missed the nuance complexities of the sentiments of the data set here. And categorical boost was fairly able to handle the results better than ADA boost. And finally, XG boost was the best performing model out of all the 3. And it could identify that what are how we are categorizing data, and it could basically grasp the sentiments of the data better than the other 2 models. So we had the highest accuracy from the XG boost model. So our lowest was from ADA boost, which was 78.06%, and we achieved the highest accuracy from XG boost for 40% of test data. For 10% of test data at 86.39%.
In conclusion, through our work, we aim to survey the present sentiment analysis tools in Indic languages and assess the performance of boosting algorithms in making these tools accurate. Our primary focus is to contribute to the NLP space for vernacular languages, for which we scraped and annotated our own Hindi data set and conducted suitable pre-processing. We achieved the highest accuracy of 86.39 with XGBoost, simultaneously assessing what analysis models work best for such corpora. Our main aim was to lay a foundation for the selection of algorithm for Hindi NLP tasks. Now coming to the future work with the advent of ChatGPT and large language models coming to the forefront of daily use. Large language models is a way to implement NLP that could hold great value in terms of Indian languages. Actually, recently there are developments where our country is developing our own language model called Open Hathi with comparison to Open AI, which is trained purely on Hindi data. So exploring large language models for NLP tasks for Hindi is a great advent where our future work will take us. Also, a multimodal approach where we take in audio, video, and other forms of data and not just textual for regional languages is an avenue which is still unexplored to a great extent. So that is where we could go. And evaluating bias and fairness is always something that we take whenever we do tasks which are so relevant, which have applications that are relevant to social use, as in NLP. So that is also somewhere we could go. And cross lingual sentiment analysis, so this is something which is very relevant to real world scenarios in which we don't really use purely Hindi or purely English. So there's quite a lot of work that is done here by the Chinese in which they do cross lingual analysis for Chinglish. So similarly, what we could do was explore data sets that are English, in which you have transliteration things where you write Hindi in English. So that is an exciting avenue for our future work.
Yes, it is a good presentation. Just a small question. While comparing the three kinds of model, have you imagined why a particular kind of model is giving the good result and others are not performing likely?
So the main reason is that some models are able to grasp the details of the data set, like the sentiments of the data set, better than the other models. And it depends on how they work. Like these are all boosting algorithms, they form trees. So the way these algorithms internally work, like for categorical boost, it categorically combines the trees and then it starts forming a bigger tree and classifying. But for XGBoost, it goes into details and depths and then it forms a tree. So the way they internally work and form their tree structures to further classify, that is where the difference comes in.
So they're all
Yes, but
boosting algorithms, but when it comes to Hindi data set, grasping underlying relationships in terms of NLP is quite hard. So boosting algorithms as a whole generally give good results, but in extreme boosting method, simply because of the structure of how the model is made, because of its sensitivity to overfitting and the regularizations layered added in XGBoost, we believe that is the reason it outperforms other models, especially in capturing nuances which are specific to our data set.
I think before moving further for doing any of the analysis in English or anything else, just try to combine it with explainable AI, because without knowing the reason behind why a particular model performing like this on your data, it will be a good insight to know the white box rather than just following the black box. There may be some parameters who are highly influenced in your case of data set. So it will make you clear, much more clear by understanding every instance behavior on your model. By adding the XAI like Lime you can add or Sharp you can add, and then you just get to know how a particular instance when get into the boosting algorithm performs or provides the results. Okay, then you just move further with large amount of data or mix amount of data.
Right, ma'am. Thank you so much. We'll surely implement that before moving on to our future work.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you,
That's
ma'am.
all from it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now moving to the next presentation. For the next presentation, I would like to call Purtha Anande for the paper title Sudden Cardiac Arrest in Individual Who Over-Exercise in Etiology, Use of Wearable IoT Technology, and the Role of COVID-19, a Systematic Review. Ma'am?
I'll go ahead and share my screen.
Yes, ma'am. You can proceed with your presentation. Now you can proceed with your presentation.
Yes. Just a minute. I hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, ma'am, your screen is visible to us.
Just a second. I'm gonna... All right. A very good morning to one and all present over here. My name is Pratha Annadate. I'm a third year student of Dr. Vishwanath Karad, MIT World Peace University. Today's topic is sudden cardiac arrest in individuals who overexercise, the etiology of it, that is the reasoning behind it, why does it happen, the use of wearable IoT technology, smart technology, and the role of COVID-19. This is a review, the aim of which was to facilitate further research. Agenda will cover introduction, related works, etiology, IoT, COVID-19, conclusion, and future scope. Talking about SCD. Now, most of us might be aware of heart attacks, but not a lot of us are aware of sudden cardiac deaths and what is its relationship with exercise particularly. Sudden cardiac deaths is usually caused by an electrical issue rather than a blood circulation issue, and it has a high correlation with increased exercise intensity. So as you can see in the graph, a NET is a metabolic equivalent of task, which is analogous to how much energy you spend sitting at rest. So as you see, the higher you exercise, the negative effects of exercise on health increase rather than decreasing, which is called the exercise paradox. High intensity exercises lead to arrhythmia, as it means arrhythmia literally means irregular heartbeat. And it is all related to how your heart malfunctions. In the related works, we covered etiology, which were segregated into two parts, individual factors, which will also include familial factors and genetic factors, along with activity factors, Internet of Things, and how they can enhance the way we look at data and exercise, the ethical concerns that arise with it, the impact of COVID-19 in lieu of the pandemic, and the risks and prevention of it. So talking about etiology, as I mentioned earlier, we have the individual as well as the activity factors. Individual factors include but are not limited to gender. Males are at a 3 to 5% higher risk. Now, we also took into consideration sampling bias, but that still leads to a higher risk for males. Age groups above 35 usually suffer from STDs. Age groups below 35 have arrhythmia, as I mentioned earlier, which is a circulation issue. You may have pre-existing medical conditions. Now, any SCD usually occurs due to a substrate, and it is triggered by a event. In case of exercise, it may be the psychological effects a athlete goes through due to intense exercise. Activity factors will include the nature, duration of it, and intensity of it. I have covered all of these points earlier. Let's talk about wearable technology. Wearable technology, in Italy, it is mandated that each athlete, a professional athlete, must have an ECG and a medical history conducted before they move on. That is not necessarily activated everywhere else in the world, and that can have diverse effects. But the mandate in Italy also has its own pros and cons. Usually, while to conduct an ECG while you are exercising, devices like Fitbits or smartwatches, which use IoT, use a one lead ECG. Usual ECGs that are conducted in the hospitals are 12 lead ECGs, and they are highly accurate. One lead ECGs have the con that it requires precise positioning. And Fitbits, which are the most common way of recording your exercise, use PPG, photoplasmography, which is actually approved by FDA. EPG basically uses optical techniques to identify increase in blood circulation or decrease in it. But that is not always accurate. Apple Watch's inbuilt system for AF, atrial fibrillation, as I mentioned earlier, is actually not very accurate. So the question that we pose is, how do we increase this? And that is a point for future work. Each monitoring cycle can produce large amounts of data, as each minute you have a lot of data that is being generated, which will require a lot of storage. Then this can be offloaded. One possible option to it to offload it, but then how accurate is your analysis? Fog computing is an answer for this. Fog computing is basically bringing your data down to close to where it is actually being recorded rather than sending it out to the cloud, which can be used for analysis. Now, talking about ethics of it, you have a CIA triad, which is a standard of evaluation. It stands for confidentiality of data, integrity of data, and availability of data, which can be applied to IoT technologies that analyze health data in particular. Talking about COVID-19, the ORCCA was a American Health Organization outcomes for registry cardiac conditions in athletes study that was supported after COVID-19 only, not before that. It took into consideration almost 45,000 athletes over 45 institutions. All of these were post-COVID inspections, and it supported the exercise paradox that we had talked about in the first slide. But it also showed that moderate exercises up to 30 minutes a week can operate as a defense factor. The Terraco program, the other program that we analyzed, was a telerehabilitation program with over 120 patients, which showed that improved endurance is possible. A fun fact for this is that it was all done through one lead ECGs. However, after all of these considerations, there are two things, that is prevention and how do you withdraw. The withdrawal decision remains subjective. It needs to be discussed with the family. But CPR, that is cardiac pulmonary resuscitation, can be used to relive a person in case he passes out. It does help. It is noted that almost 50% of the cases may have a chance of survival due to CPR. So as the public interest in intense exercises in the gyms increases, CPR must be taught to the models over there. The conclusion in future scope. High intensity trained individuals might encounter psychological changes which act as a trigger on existing subjects like genetic algorithms. Prompt CPR can be used to lead to dissociation. IoT technology might have booms, but again, it has its own cons, but it has a positive impact when you use it in the right way. There is a possibility of increase in physical endurance. ECG diagnosis and physical history is compulsory as we
Sorry
saw.
to interrupt, ma'am. You have
Yes,
1
sir.
minute to conclude.
Yes, sir, don't worry. And future research, the most important part, may include identifying accurately the risk factors, which can be done using sparse recovery. The easiest way to explain sparse recovery is that you have only a few pieces of the data that are crucial and important, and sparse recovery figures out which are the important parts of the data. Along with that, you can also use something called singular spectrum analysis, which is used to break down complex pattern into sequence of numbers for time series data, which will be important in terms of data analysis recovered from IoT devices for health. These were the references that we had, and with this, I conclude my presentation. Thank you.
There are two observations which I want to make about your presentation. You have prepared very well. You know
Thank you,
everything
ma'am.
about your presentation. The only thing when we are presenting the facts, which is present in some literature, you should mention the reference. That was missing in your entire slides. Okay.
Okay,
Whatever
ma'am.
these context you are giving, in context of either in COVID or in context of IoT, you should mention the proper reference there and there only. Okay,
Yes,
so that it becomes more authentic.
yes,
And
ma'am.
second thing, the my uh, idea was you want to do some research in fog computing, or you are planning to develop some new IoT device. What is your future aim of doing this kind of research?
Yes, ma'am. So the main aim was to understand the main points of a SCD and then relate that to ML in the future, and also include cloud in it so that the analysis and the computation power becomes less.
Okay, so your aim is to reduce the computational power so
Yes.
that the attack frequency can be determined.
Ma'am, the most of the products, existing products already do that, but one of the ways to improve that is what I'm trying to aim. So my focus is improving the existing products like the Fitbit or the Apple Watch. But how do I improve the algorithms over there? For that, I need to understand the background of it, which is why the whole survey took place.
Okay. So all the best. Definitely you're going to do wonderful research because you are very much clear about each and everything which you are reading.
Yes. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving to the next presentation now. Now I would like to call Noor Fatima for the paper titled Transfer Learning for Speaker Verification with Short Duration Audio. Ma'am?
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible. You can proceed with the presentation.
Sure. Thank you. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am, your screen is visible to us.
Okay, thanks. Good morning, everyone. I am Noor Fatima, and I'm here to present a work that revolves around the transfer learning for speaker verification with short duration audio. Speaker verification is a biometric technology that verifies the identity of a speaker based on their unique voice characteristics. In the early days, speaker verification began as a niche technology primarily used for secure access and voice controlled systems. Early systems faced limitations, especially in handling short audio snippets, where the technology struggled to capture the richness of a speaker's voice. Fast forwarding to today, where the landscape has evolved significantly, the increase of short audio segments in applications like mobile authentication and real time voice verifications has become a game changer. Short audio, duration audio refers to the instances where
Noor, I
available.
just want to stop you in
Yes, ma'am.
between. Just come to your problem and then your directly to your results. Okay.
Okay, okay, ma'am. So, okay, the problem, imagine, okay, coming to the problem statement and objectives, imagine a scenario where we need to verify someone's identity solely based on the unique characteristics of their voice captured in a small duration audio. This is the challenge that we are addressing in our work. Our focus is on utilizing voice recordings, possibly from a microphone, in normal acoustic environments. The task is to establish a more reliable system that can verify whether a speaker is who they claim to be. Now let us dive into some of the objects that guide our research objectives. Each objective plays a crucial role in achieving our goal. First objective is to train the system to recognize and model the unique speech signals of individual speakers. Moving on to the second objective, the system we aim to build a system to compare the voice signals of an unknown speaker with a database of known speaker models generated during the training phase. To make our system accessible and user friendly, the third objective involves around integrating the Streamlit, which is a web application framework for Python. Now let us dive into the methodology behind our speaker verification research. The process is divided into two stages, that is the training phase or the enrollment session and the testing phase or the operating session. Training phase is where the system learns to recognize the unique speech signals of individual speakers. In this phase, we create speaker models based on their distinct voice characteristics. In the training phase, the important role is to extract the features from the audio clips. So MFECs, which are mel frequency energy bands, are employed to extract the features. And the next one is the second phase, which is the testing phase. Once the system has undergone the training phase, it moves to the testing phase where it encounters the voice signals from unknown speakers. So we capture a audio for about 20 to 30 seconds, and it is converted into a suitable format, which is dot flag or dot wave, because through these formats the voice extraction or the features extraction is easier compared to the other formats, and then we generate the speaker models for each of the speakers. Coming to the design and the implementation part, the design employs a comprehensive.
Just a quick question. Are
Sure.
you considering more than one voice or a single voice?
We are considering more than one voice. So it is like the system has a set of speakers in its database. And when an unknown speaker comes to the system and gives the voice speech, it compares that speech with the rest of the speakers that is already present in the database. So depending on that, it does the verification.
No, I'm asking when you are like I'm speaking, this is one voice.
Yes.
Okay. Similarly, in a single piece of audio, are you considering a single voice or multiple voice?
I'm considering a single voice for this particular use case.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So, yeah, in the development stage, there is a pre-trained 3D CNN architecture that acts as a base model to extract the features from the speaker utterances for representation. This 3D CNN architecture is designed in such a way that it captures both spatial and temporal features to enhance the ability to recognize within speaker variations. Rather than relying on a single utterance, this approach concurrently processes multiple utterances in the 3D CNN architecture, capturing diverse within speaker utterances. Next is the enrollment stage. In the enrollment stage, a unique model is constructed for each speaker model on their provided utterances. This approach involves using the same number of utterances for both model building as well as the enrollment stage. During the evaluation stage, each test utterances is processed by the network and its features are extracted. Then the test utterances is compared to all the speaker models, and speaker verification occurs based on the similarity index. So now that we have explored the intricacies of the design, let us take a closer look on how it all comes together in action. So we have prepared a small video demo showcasing the real-time implementation of our speaker verification system. So let me just play the video for you all.
We cannot see the video. You can just directly come to the analysis and result.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It is okay. You just come to your results. Okay.
Sure. Can I just try once again? Like, is the screen visible now, ma'am?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, I'll just play. It'll just take 30 seconds. So,
And we have 1 minute to conclude.
okay.
Sorry to interrupt. You have 1 minute to conclude.
Okay. Some of the analysis and results that were noticed during this work are consistent utterances across the stages. So, to ensure the fairness and consistency, the development and the enrollment stages should utilize the same number of utterances. So, and next one is the key aspect of our analysis involved maintaining the consistency in recording device or the microphone used. So, if at all we are using a, a kind of a headset for the recording, then during the testing stage also similar kind of a microphone or the headset should be used. So that plays an important role is what we noticed. And this approach is tailored for specific speaker verification tasks, emphasizing the direct feeding of an ensemble of speaker utterances. So this is customized for specific speaker verification tasks with feeding an ensemble of speaker utterances directly. Some of the suggestions and conclusions are to enhance or to develop a system where speaker speaks in the adverse conditions, like if the person has cold or blocked throat. Next is the system should be able to recognize the speaker's voice even when there is a whispering happening in the background, and to enroll the more number of speakers. So during the this phase, we used the speakers, like the numbers were very less, so we intend to work on or enroll more number of speakers and test it regressively. Next is to develop the system with acoustic environments. And at the end, these are some of the papers that were used and which significantly influenced our speaker verification system, providing the foundational insights and methodologies. So with this, I would like to conclude my presentation. Thank you. If ma'am, you have any questions?
I just want to know, isn't your model more hardware dependent?
No, it is not hardware dependent.
You were asking like one should use the same speaker, the headphones.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. It is hardware dependent because also on the acoustic environments it depends. So maybe not the same device, but the device having the similar features would do. But if you are recording the voice without any headset directly through the system's microphone, and then during the testing phase you are using a headset, then there'll be some difference, right? Like there'll be a lot of noise without the headset. So that matters during the in the system.
For what kind of application this particular model will be suitable?
For as of now, I thought of like in colleges for biometrics, they're using facial recognition and fingerprint technology, right, ma'am? So maybe this could be another kind of method which could be employed in the biometric systems using the speaker's voice. So short duration, especially because people don't have much time. So any audio which could be between 20 to 30 seconds would be enough for the system to verify if the person who he is, who is claiming to be.
Okay. I think in future you're definitely going to make it a hardware independent model.
Hopefully, ma'am.
Okay. All the best.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving to the next presentation. Now I would like to call. So for the next presentation, I would like to call Arivu Brakan for the paper title and optimized diagnostic precision using genetic algorithm in breast cancer. Ma'am, you can proceed with the presentation.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
The most respected and honored session shares a very pleasant good morning to everyone. Myself is Arivu Brakan and my co-authors are Dr. Kushni and Dikshita from Railtech Chennai. The paper title is Optimized Diagnostic Precision Using Genetic Algorithm in Breast Cancer. Nowadays, the breast cancer is the
Your
most
screen is
common.
not visible to us.
Okay, one second, I will. Sir, is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am. Now it is visible.
I would like you to just come to the problem and the results which you want to share, because
Okay,
we
ma'am.
have
Thank
very
you,
less
ma'am.
time. Okay.
Yeah, ma'am. So let's get into the contribution. What we have been looking for this nowadays, the women are suffering from the breast cancers all over the world. 6 lakh people are has been died so far. In order to diagnose the early stage of the breast cancer as well as the later stage of the breast cancers, our article will be enhancing the selection of the features which gives you the better result among these 8 classifiers. This is what the objective of our research. So we have been taken an optimization, which is a powerful tool to enhance the solution among the set of all possible solutions now. So that's why we have taken some 8 classifiers, such as the classifiers are the random forest, k-nearest, papers, linear SVM, logistic, radial SVM, Adabos, and the classifiers we have been taken, and we have been did an optimal things, and these are all the literature survey we have been taken for our considerations. Among these literature survey, our article will produce you the 97.2% of the accuracy, which is we kept as a fitness function. We taken as a fitness function, which we call it as an objective function for our optimization algorithm, which is a genetic algorithm we have been taken. And these are all the classifications which we get it among this data set. We have taken the breast cancer Wisconsin data set from the CADWELL, which is an existing data set. We have been taken the total of 32 attributes, and we have get the results as the early stage we have been seeing of 357, and the later stage which is a 112. So this is the data acquisition one, and this is a correlation matrix of attributes in the data sets, which provides you the relationship among these attributes. So this is a pictorial representation. And the proposed method, what we have been taken a genetic algorithm because it's one of the powerful algorithm in order to give you the feature selections in the most accurate way. So that's why we have taken a genetic algorithm, and we have been incorporated this algorithm to our real data sets, which is a Wisconsin's dataset map. And these are all the classifiers we have been taken: random forest classifier, nearest neighbor classifier. So the versatile machine learning algorithm, which having the random forest classifier, which always provides me here to find the best accuracy, which is a 97.2 among these k nearest classifiers, and SVM, which is a support vector machine classifier, logistic classifier, gradient boost classifier, radial SVM classifier, Adabos classifier, and decision tree classifiers. So these are all the results and discussion one. With feature selections, we have obtained that the random forest is one of the best classifiers for our real time, for our data set, which is gives me an accuracy of 97%. And without feature selection also, we have been listed here. This is a pictorial representation of our results. Among this, we have been among the 32 features, which we have been selected as 14 features, and we have been did some accuracies, which we obtained here is 97.2 mark. And this is the conclusion again. Among these 8 machine learning classifiers, we have taken the random forest classifier, which shows the best accuracy of our model map. These are all the references that we have been incorporated in our article. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, I would only suggest you just also use XAI, because again, this is a black box model, and you will not learn what a particular instances says about the output. So XAI will definitely help you to understand the performance of the model and the outcome of the model.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir, for giving me an opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am. It's our pleasure.
Thank you.
Now, moving towards the closing remark, I sincerely thank our authors for their excellent presentation and contribution in this session, and all participants for being a part of this international conference. I hope this session was informative enough. We, on behalf of the whole team, thank you for support during the 8th version and the previous 7 version of the conference. We will be happy to have you in the 9th version in 2025. All the presenters will be getting their digital certificates through email within 2 working days. Further, all the papers have already forwarded to the Springer. The publication will be live in 6 months. Kindly cooperate with the team of SMARTCOM 2024. I also thank our session chair, Dr. Amita, for chairing the session, and this is the token of appreciation from on behalf of SMARTCOM 2024 and Global Knowledge Research Foundation and partners. Ma'am, we would love to hear you.
Thank you so much. It was really a good platform to share knowledge. As I already said, today's presentation were wonderful, especially the web application developed for specially challenged people, and all the other ideas. Students are really doing so well. They are so much clear about their research problem and also presenting in such a wonderful manner. All the best. Every speaker did their best, and definitely in future we'll see some more interesting research in our conferences. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your presence. Now I will request everyone to turn on their cameras for for a quick snapshot of the conference. Participants, I request you to turn on the cameras for a quick snapshot.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Stay connected, stay safe.